Welcome back to a brand new episode of TVGP's We Roguelike It. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpair.
Hello.
And we are sadly at the fourth and final week of Luck Be a Landlord. Um,
Yep.
Definitely a game. We'll let the scientists talk about it a little bit more detail, but definitely a game that I am sad to put in the rear view mirror here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Join it a lot more than I thought. What floor are you currently on? Let's start there.
Currently floor 11.
Okay, I'm on floor 10, and
Ooh.
wow,
You
does it
got
get
you got
serious
you,
at 10, man?
you you got through the essences. Okay.
The essences are ridiculous, dude. At
Yeah, dude.
when I unlocked them, I was like, man, these are too strong. Like I'm gonna motor right through this game. And then like floor 8, 9, and 10 are like, no, you're really not. You need these things to just compete at this point. Um, and
And it tells you how much it clicked with you this week though, because you went from like floor 6 to one floor below me
mhm.
in like a week.
Yeah, and like it's a lot of like I spent a bunch of time playing it this week because it is kid friendly, so I don't have to worry about who's watching. But
Mm-hmm.
also like kind of getting my arms around more synergies and trying to get more synergies. Had a
Yes.
really great fruit run this week, finally, of like compost pile, the watering can, Mrs. Fruit. You know, you've got everybody's there
Yeah.
and they're all buffing each other. Um, I had I wrote down my floor six winning run was the most ridiculous. I got frozen pizza, which is when it was isn't playing. It's a very rare item that every two spins you can add an extra symbol. So
Yes.
basically every two levels you're or every two spins you're adding two items instead of one, which some runs isn't going to do very well for you because your deck is just going to get too overloaded. But in this run, I had Geologist, Mrs. Fruit, Pirate, Eldritch Creature, and Robin Hood.
So you just adding billionaires and curses and all
Yep.
of the stones that
I'm
you could
just
possibly
I'm
add.
dumping everything into my deck, and like every turn,
'Cause that's a whole bunch of high level consumers for those of you
right,
not playing
they
that.
kind of
They're
eat
people who get
other
rid of
symbols.
symbols.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like all five of them are eating at least one symbol every turn because I they chewed through most of my deck at that point. My deck was really thin, so I'm adding all of this stuff every spin, and at least one
Hmm.
person is eating it almost immediately. Um,
That's great.
that was that was a that was a really great run, um, and I think the one that I won. I think it was what floor 6 or floor 7 gets you essences. Um,
7, I think.
okay, that one was I got credit card, which is another very rare item. It says every 7 rounds or spins, I think it is. You have 16 more symbols to choose from after a spin. And that's the one
Hmm.
where it pops up that little window at the bottom of like, here's 18 icons. What do you
Yep.
want? That one was incredibly good for like, okay, I'm working towards this synergy or like I have this synergy. I'm just going to keep feeding that nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. And you weren't kidding. That landlord fight can be pretty tough if you're
Uh-huh.
barely making it to that fight. Um, because
Yep. Because all of a sudden your values are worth less. You get null ones thrown in there. Like there's a
those
lot going
nulls.
on
I'm starting like on floor
with
10,
3.
starting with 3 and then getting one more added every, was it 25, 33 spins, something like that. So like that's rough, man. That's really, I need you to not do that because they don't go away for
Uh-huh.
33 spins. So like you're
Yep.
just, you're in a bad shape, man.
It's ridiculous how quickly that can escalate, very
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yep.
And the worst part of that as well is if you end up like overloading a little bit and you end up getting them out of the spin rotation for a while,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll just end up with one where it's like, oh, hey, here is 5 nulls.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Cool. Great.
Uh-huh.
But those essences are. I don't think I fully realized how much they can just completely juice your synergies. Um, for anyone that isn't playing, we talked about them last week, but what I didn't really realize is that a lot of the really powerful ones are like the one that destroys urns and like
The
gravestones,
gravestone.
and they give you the
Uh-huh.
ghosts. That
Yeah,
one is basically like, oh well, whenever you destroy an urn or a gravestone and you get a ghost, uh,
you get two.
yeah, like this essence destroys itself, and you now get two every time you do those. And you can juice that a little further with another item or another essence by like a lot of them that I find are really powerful. Like, cool. If you have three or more ores in your deck, every ore is just worth 1.5 times the
Yep.
value now. It's just like you can have six or seven of them on the screen. It's getting buffed by one or two of your other items, and it's getting buffed by this thing, and it just the the way that your deck adds up on screen is already strong, and then it's like, okay, what if we just started multiplying that by stuff? It's very much like Balatro, where it's like this stuff is all really good, but what if I started multiplying that by itself a number of times? It's like, oh,
Yes.
uh-huh, got it. Yes,
Like
now I see it.
that ends one is a really good example because like you said, like the graveyard essence is like like or like the grave robber essence or the item itself is like it has a 44% or 66% chance to destroy urns. That's
Mm-hmm.
the default item. The essence version of it, like you said, is once a certain number of urns have been destroyed, it destroys itself, and from that point on, every single urn that gets destroyed gives you two of the things.
Yep.
And then you can also you can synergize that with the other item, which is like when people die, they produce ghosts,
Yes. Yep.
and the essence of that item increases the value of the spirits by 1.5 times for the rest of the run.
Right.
So then all of a sudden you've got two essences which you've destroyed, but now you're getting twice and three times as much from those items.
Yep.
That was actually my floor 9 run. I ended up with a really solid flower and bees run where like I
Mm.
got a couple of items like the rain cloud essence and something else where like if a rain cloud is in the wheel, it's adjacent to everything. Doesn't matter where it
It's
is, the
so
rain cloud is
strong.
classed as adjacent to everything.
Yep.
And I ended up with a pretty good bees and flowers and kind of synergy going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, this is going to get me halfway.
Right.
Like, just because of the value of the items, that it's going to get me about halfway, and I'm crushing it for the first half, but I need to try and find bears and beehives because that'll give me
Yeah.
the late game synergy for the same items. I ended up not finding bears and beehives, but I ended up with a roll of hooligans and urns instead. So I
Mm.
just ended up rolling with the flowers and urns kind of thing, where I was just like, yeah, like bring it on.
Yep.
And I ended up with that whole synergy for my floor 9 run. It was like started with flowers and bees, transitioned it over into like the hooligans and the urns, and then from there I got the essences to run with it, and I was just like, yeah, I crushed it. Floor 9 done and dusted.
Yep.
It was great.
One of my more
My
successful runs was actually I really love capsules in this game, and I think they are like secretly one of the more powerful ones, especially the ones that spawn rare items and the ones that spawn common items. I
common
think
items, yes.
I think
Rare
those,
symbols and common items,
yeah, rare
yes.
symbols and common items. Thank you. Um, I think those are secretly really powerful, and then the essence of the capsule machine
affects them 3 times, isn't it? It
Yeah,
does it
they
instead of the
then
regular
pop
one.
3 times instead of once. So it's like, okay, cool. This one just gives me 10 coins. That's great. Now it gives me 30. This one gives me a
Uh-huh.
common items. Cool. Now I have 3 common items. It's like that's so strong for something that like, oh, this one gives me one reroll. Cool. Now you have 3 of them. It's like, jeez.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Cool. Good. 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 Good.
And then, especially if you get like the one that gives you essence,
Yep.
like the essence to get the essences,
Oh
and it's
my
like, oh,
god.
I
Yep.
get one essence, now I have six.
Uh huh.
It just cost me like 12 gold, but I now I have six essences.
So
Like
worth it.
fantastic.
Ah, it's so good. And like, I that's what I think draws me to this game. I we talked about it a little bit last week, but I think part of what I like about this game is a winning or losing run is quick. This isn't I'm not in there for 90 minutes doing a run. Even like a really long run that maybe goes to like payment 18 or something if you're going to do endless is maybe 45 minutes if you're moving really slowly.
Yeah.
So it for me it makes it easy to start a new run, whether that's a winning or a losing run. I'm losing the majority of my runs at this point.
Yes. I'd say for me, it's probably like a 1 in 6. I'll have one
Yeah,
winning run for every six that I do.
yep. And a lot of them are just like because at the higher floors you have to pay so much more early on that I'm like barely eking by the first couple of payments, and maybe you get to like payment 3 or 4 and it's like I didn't get anything going, like nothing.
Yep.
Sometimes you get to the end, you get to the boss fight, and you just couldn't make the payment or you couldn't beat the boss in time. It's just like that's okay, that was still maybe 30 minutes. I'm gonna hop back in.
Yeah.
And having that kind of corresponding to just the brain pleasing happiness that all of these synergies makes for me, seeing all the symbols like swirling around and like spinning around each other and hopping up
Yeah.
and down.
Like when one of them shakes because he's buffing like five other symbols
Uh-huh.
around him, and it's just like, yeah,
Or like one of
yeah.
those symbols just like spins in a circle because it's
Uh-huh.
and just the like the doot 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 the coins coming out. It's this
Yes, and the pitch changes as it gets higher and higher, which I think is a nice little touch.
like that's I think that's the secret sauce of this game of like you don't get everything. It your whole your like your reels don't just say bleh, here's 300 coins. It's like 5,
You
10,
can
35,
you can
85.
set it to that.
Oh,
I did actually set it at one point to reels instant, payout instant, math
right.
instant, all this other kind of stuff, and it was not as fun to play.
No, because it's like you want just like Balatro. The two of these from like a dopamine perspective are very similar. Of like, I want Balatro to take its time and then eventually get faster and faster and faster as my numbers get ludicrous. Same thing here. I want to see every bee spinning around 6 things by itself, and then the flower next to it spinning around a bunch of other stuff, and then the raindrop
Uh-huh.
spinning around 6 other things. Like, take your time and just do the like, I want to see all that spinning, and then have each set of coins start tallying up. Ah, it's so good.
And it's great that it does it in like it does it like in a row. So it
Yeah,
goes like I think it goes left, top to bottom, left to right. I think is the way it
I think
goes.
so.
So like it'll start spinning in the top left, and you know you've got 7 to go on the bottom right corner, and it'll just
Yep,
flow through the whole thing and slowly spin them one by one.
yep.
I will say my floor 10 run was a banger of a run because I think on the
Mm.
third spin I got the geologist,
Oh, it's so early. Oh, it's so
and
good.
I was like, okay,
There's my
I'm
run.
sold.
Yep.
Like, this is me. I'm leaning all the way into the mining thing, and I
Yep.
ended up with like a geologist, a diver, and
Oh
the
man.
dame real early. Like by
Oof.
floor like 6, I
That's
got like
great.
all 3 of them, and I was like, okay, this is great. I'm
Yep.
set. I've got a really good run going on here. And then I ended up with at one of the essences. I think it's the essence of time machine.
Hmm.
So the time machine item reduces the number of spins things need to do something. So like the Matryoshka doll, instead of being 3 spins, it's 2 spins.
Right,
Uh,
yeah. And like
the frozen
Eldritch
fossil, yeah,
monster, yeah.
instead of being 10 to 20 spins, it's like 50, it's like 15 or whatever.
Right.
The essence version of that reduces it to 0.
Oh jeez. I don't know if I have picked that up. That's ridiculous.
So like you pick a Matryoshka doll, and as soon as it comes up, it just goes shrink, 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 gold, shrink, 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 shrink,
Wow.
gold.
Does
It
that
doesn't
also
even.
work with the golem in the mine?
I don't know about those two, but it does
Okay.
for the fossil. So the fossil, as soon as it appears, it
Wow.
turns straight into the Eldritch thing.
Oh.
So after starting the game with a bunch of really good like mining things, I
Mm-hmm.
got that, and I was like, I'm gonna pick any frozen fossil I see right now, and I
Yep.
ended up with like 6 of those worms, each giving me like plus 15, because they're not like the geologists
Right.
where you have to do them individually, or Mrs. Fruit where you have to do it
Yeah, they all
individually.
share.
They all shared the same
Yeah.
results. So I was just like, okay, if it's a stone, I'm picking a stone. If it's a curse, I'm picking the curse. I don't care anymore.
Man.
I ended up with like 4 worms, each giving me like plus 50 each turn. And I was
Jeez.
just like, I'm set.
Now this
This
one's
is great.
done. Yep.
I don't have to worry about this run anymore.
Kill the landlord in like 2 hits. Jeez.
Pretty much. Have you seen the essence of guillotine yet?
I did because I I saw it and I saw, okay, I usually pick up the guillotine just because it taking out the billionaires is just free money. Like I don't like billionaires in general, like in life, but also in this game. They're much better, I think,
They're
for
weak synergies. They're great. They're just good
yeah,
sacrifices.
they're just good to get in the guillotine. And then I saw like, oh, Essence of Guillotine, that has to be good. And it was basically like, if your money is over 1E04, something like that,
1EA is the exact
right,
terminology.
it just kills you. It ends your run. And I was just like,
That's a billion. That's a billion coins, by the
and
way.
I was like, I just, I love it so much. And then I went into the stats to look at the achievements.
Yeah, it's right there. 77 times you have to get
Yep.
killed by that
And I
thing.
was just like, you know what, man? I'm not there yet, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the idea of just like, I did get too rich. I just need to
Hmm.
end this run. That's really
Yep.
good.
Yep. I was like, what is 1EA? And then I looked it up and was like, oh, it kills you if you have a billion coins. And I was like,
Yep.
of course it does. That's great. And
And
like
like,
you said, I looked at the achievements and I was
yep,
like, get killed by the essence of guillotine 77 times. And I was just like,
so good. And there are a lot of really good achievements in here. Like half of the time when I have them pop, I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm glad I'm not looking through the achievements because I feel like some of these would drive me a little bonkers of like, how would I even do that? Where it's like, pick up a ninja and then don't see it for the next 3 turns. It's like, okay, I guess I did that
you
at
have to
some
have
point.
one ninja and like 96,000 other symbols, I
Yeah,
guess, for that one.
exactly. Like, it's a little bit better if I just continue to play the game and just pick up stuff I
And you just
don't
get them
see.
randomly.
Yeah,
Do you want to know what the worst one in there is?
sure.
And this is just from an achievement hunter's perspective who hates the RNG nature of certain achievements.
Hmm.
The worst achievement that I can see, I don't even care about winning the game 7,000 times or
Right.
777
Yeah,
times,
that's
like
not.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. One of them is to have a golden goose or a goose lay a golden egg on the second spin.
Oh my god.
So not only do you have to
Woof.
have the goose show up in at the end of the first spin,
Right.
it then has to have that 1% chance of
Right.
laying the golden egg on the second spin.
Sheesh. I was wondering if there was something like that in there because I did get a um an achievement for, it was like you get an egg and then it hatches and turns into a chicken on the same spin.
Yep, in the exact same turn, yes.
Right. And I was like,
And there is
okay.
an essence item that is the exact that only activates it. It gives all eggs, chickens, and thing 100% chance to produce their items
Mm,
or whatever it is,
Right.
but it only activates on that exact circumstance you just said,
Oh,
where you
okay.
have an egg, it hatches, and it turns into a chicken all at the same turn.
Oof. Wow. I really love this game. I just
Uh-huh.
we could spend probably 2 more hours here talking about ridiculous synergies and overpowered essences, and like I went and looked, and it looks based on the achievement that there's 20 floors. So like we're halfway
Yep.
through. I don't even know how much meaner and nearly impossible this game is going to get, but I'm
Uh-huh.
excited to find out.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, any final thoughts here for our final week of Luck Be Landlord?
No, it's fun. On like when you get on a streak of losing runs, it can be a little frustrating at
Mm-hmm.
times. But like when it's the thing we love about Isaac, it's that thing that when you see that item, you get that one item, and you're like, yeah, this is done,
This is my build. Here we
100%.
go.
I'm he,
Yep.
I'm hitting the end. I'm doing everything I
Rubbing your
need to
hands
do.
together of like,
Satan,
here we go.
yeah, exactly. And
Yep.
like Satan is in trouble now.
That's
It
right.
like it's
That's
just
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Oh man. Yeah. If you're listening to the show, you should probably play this game, and it has my highest recommendation. So, all right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening along to Luck Be Landlord. Our next game is a game called Shogun Showdown. That appears to be on most consoles and PC. It doesn't appear to be on mobile devices. So we're going to play Shogun Showdown here for the next month. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next run. Bye.
Oi.